1:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Geethanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. The vote on accounts of the Ministries of Health and Buddha Sasana were taken up for debate today. It has been stressed that a shortage of specialist doctors have been created due to services of them being limited to 60 years of age. The government has paid attention to expand the opportunities to enter into the European market for the goods exports. The chairman of the Ceylon Electricity Board says that a systematic program will be prepared to supply electricity continuously. Foreign news, heavy police presence after days of protests. News in detail. Today is the sixth day of the committee stage debate of the Parliament. The votes on account of the Ministries of Health and Buddha Sasana were taken up for debate today. Opening the debate, Parliamentarian Rajitha Senaratne said that there is a large-scale shortage in medicine. The reason for this is the weakness of the importing of medicinal items. The prices of medicinal items are selling at higher prices in the market. Therefore, no room will be allowed to the importers of medicinal drugs to increase the prices of medicinal drugs. A shortage of specialist doctors have been created due to service of doctors being limited to 60 years of age. The government has paid attention to expand the opportunities to enter into the European market for goods exports. A thorough study should be conducted in this regard. A feasibility study will be conducted on food, fish products and value-added apparels for exports. An agreement will be reached with the Sri Lanka Exports Development Board and the Import Promotion Programme of Switzerland. An agreement will be reached to increase the cost for the implementation of community development projects under the assistance of the Indian government. The cabinet approval has been received to reach an MOU between the Ministry of Plantation Industries and France to implement the projects for 4,000 small rubber estate holders. Chairman of the Ceylon Electricity Board, Nalinda Ilankone, says that a systematic program will be prepared to supply electricity continuously without letting the people be in the dark. Various methods will be utilized in this regard. Accordingly, 900 megawatts of electricity will be added to the national grid by using coal from the Norachale power plant. Between 33 to 38 coal ships are needed per year to fulfill the demand. He made these remarks while participating in the Dasadesin Hatha program of the SLBC. Minister Nimal Siripala De Silva says although they support the government's program, they will not remove from the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. Participating in the Dasadesin Hatha program of the SLBC, he said they have held discussions with the President in this regard. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The luxury passenger cruise ship Main Ship 5 has arrived in the Colombo port this morning with 2,000 tourists on board, the Ministry of Tourism said. The Hapag-Lloyd Lanka, a joint venture between Aitken Spence plc and TUI, has ushered in the super luxury cruise Main Ship 5 today at the Colombo port, boosting the revival of the tourism industry in Sri Lanka. The cruise will be calling at the Hambantota port tomorrow. The cruise reportedly carrying 2,000 mostly European tourists on board and 900 crew members is owned by the German operator TUI Cruises. Hapag-Lloyd Lanka, a subsidiary of the Aitken Spence Group, is the agent for TUI Cruises. The Minister of Industry says that the preparing of the policy framework for industrialists is at the final stage. A strategic plan will also be implemented in this regard and it is to be presented to the Parliament for approval. Infrastructure facilities will be developed to construct a new industrial zone. And that ends local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The Government Medical Association says that stern legal action will be taken to prevent the obtaining of high doses of various medicines by some persons. Media spokesman of the association, Dr. Chamil Vijayasinghe, says that issuing of drugs and prescriptions should be regulated. Information has been revealed that fake doctors are issuing various drugs. He also stated that there are 40,000 such fake doctors in the island, and that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Watch Light is brought to you by
Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission.
On to Watchlight, it has been reported that the Urubokka-Katuana road that links the Matra, Hambantota and Ratnapura districts is in a severe dilapidated condition. The transportation activities in the area has been obstructed due to this reason. The residents have requested the relevant authorities to take speedy measures to renovate this road. This is for the attention of the Governor of the Southern Province, and that came to you in Watchlight.
If you are following NVQ or non-NVQ vocational training course, ensure that your name is registered with the Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission by the institution. Visit the website www.tvec.gov.lk and link to candidate search and enter in your national ID number in the trainee/certificate search. Please note that this is a legal requirement. This is a message from Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
We give you the strength to rise higher and higher.
Never step back, but always march forward.
Empowering you to reach greater heights. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
World News headlines. Heavy police presence after days of protests. Golden era of UK-China relations is over. Russia hits out as Pope labels minority ethnic soldiers cruel. Protests against COVID restrictions, which erupted over the weekend, appear to have died down as a heavy police presence is reported in Chinese cities. Large barriers have gone up along the main protest road in Shanghai, and police have made several arrests. They have been stopping people taking photos of the protests and deleting pictures on their devices. Nationwide protests grew after a fire in a high-risk block in Urumqi, Western China, killed 10 people on Thursday. It is widely believed residents could not escape the blaze because of COVID restrictions, but local authorities have disputed this. Rishi Sunak has said the so-called golden era of relations with China is over, as he vowed to evolve the UK's stance towards the country. In his first foreign policy speech, the PM said the closer economic ties of the previous decade had been naive. He said the UK now needed to replace wishful thinking with robust pragmatism towards competitors, but he warned against Cold War rhetoric, adding that China's global significance could not be ignored. Mr. Sunak has faced pressure from Tory backbenchers to toughen the UK's stance on China since he took over as Tory leader and the UK Prime Minister last month. Russia has hit out at comments from the Pope that some minority groups of soldiers have behaved worse than others in the invasion of Ukraine. The cruelest troops are generally Chechens and Buryats, Pope Francis told a U.S. magazine. He also labeled the Holodomor famine caused by the Kremlin in Ukraine in the 1930s a genocide. Russia called the remarks perversion and said national groups were one family. In an interview with America Jesuit magazine, Pope Francis was asked about his apparent reluctance to directly condemn Russia for the war. And back to the headlines of the world news. Heavy police presence after days of protests. Golden era of UK-China relations is over. And Russia hits out as Pope labels minority ethnic soldiers cruel. That ends World News.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
Amidst all challenges, we will rally around you and advance.
heights. In the face of hardships, let's stand strong together.
Empowering you to reach greater heights. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
On to development news, the Department of Coast Conservation Management says that 24 tourist destinations have been identified to develop in order to promote the tourism industry in the country. And that was development news. And now moving on to sports news, the Afghanistan Cricket Board said that the United Arab Emirates will host Afghanistan's home matches over the next 5 years. Security concerns have kept touring teams away from Afghanistan who played their home matches in India in the recent years. That perception has only deepened since the country's Taliban takeover in August 2021. As part of the agreement, test-playing nation Afghanistan will play an annual 3-match T20 series against the Tier 2 Emirate side, the Cricket Board said in a statement. And that was sports news.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest, an interest rate of 22% in 4 months. NSB, the safest place for your money.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
In business news, the creative technicians will be encouraged under the National Craft Council targeting the foreign market. New income ventures will be created to around 400 families. And that was business news.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest, an interest rate of 22% in 4 months. NSB, the safest place for your money.
Economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
On to economic news. Foreign Minister Ali Sabri held discussions with the State Minister of Shipping in Bangladesh, Khalid Mahmood Chowdhury, for further collaboration in the shipping sector earlier this week. During the discussion, both ministers emphasized the importance of shipping as one of the key areas selected for collaboration between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. And that was economic news.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
On to the weather report. The Met Department says that showers or thundershowers will occur at several places in the Uva and Sabaragamu provinces and in the Galle, Mathura and Nuwara districts. Showers or thundershowers may occur at a few places in the Western Province and in the Kandy district during the afternoon or night. Mainly fair weather will prevail elsewhere over the country. Misty conditions can be expected in the Sabaragamu, Central and Uva provinces and in the Galle and Mathura districts during the morning. And that was the weather report. And before we conclude this news broadcast, the headlines once again. The vote on accounts of the Ministries of Health and Buddhasasana were taken up for debate today. It has been stressed that a shortage of specialist doctors have been created due to services of them being limited to 60 years of age. The government has paid attention to expand the opportunities to enter into the European market for goods exports. The chairman of the Ceylon Electricity Board says that a systematic program will be prepared to supply electricity continuously. Foreign news, heavy police presence after days of protests. And with that we end this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.